planning on hiking one of the most famous hikes in Zion National Park, or maybe even the US, that's right, we are talking about the Narrows. Now, if you're not sure what the Narrows are, this is probably one of my favorite hikes in the entire world, and that's because it is so different. It is so unique. You are literally wading in waders, sometimes knee, waist, and even swimming in some water through a slot canyon in Zion National Park. It is absolutely a bucket list hike for you, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about how you can also capture moments while you are checking this off your bucket list. Hi, my name is Alexandra, and I am a full-time blogger and travel photographer. I run a blog called The Bucket List Mermaid, where I help you live adventurously through your lens, check off everything on your adventure bucket list, and help you capture epic moments while doing it. And I'm about to vent right now. I'm about to vent really hard about this place. Now, I might go on a limb and say this is my favorite hike on planet Earth. However, this was one of the hardest photography spots I have ever been to. Now, although I am a photographer, I specialize in landscapes and adventure and travel photography, this kicked my butt. The Narrows humbled me in the best way possible. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really like my photos. I thought they were fine, but they weren't great. So I'm gonna be talking about the mistakes that I made as a photographer so that you don't have to. This is honesty hour here. You know, not every photo shoot is gonna be good, and we're gonna talk about it. The Narrows is a photography boot camp, and it does not hand out participation awards. It is brutal, and it will test you. So let's just quick talk about why photographing the Narrows is so challenging. Now, first off, it's because the lighting is very, very harsh. Now, you are going through a slot canyon. You're hiking through the Virgin River. Now, this means that the bottom of the canyon is very, very dark and has a lot of shadows, while the top of the canyon is very, very bright. Now, this means that your camera or your phone is not going to really know what to expose for. If you expose for the sky, the bottom's going to be completely shadowed. If you expose for the bottom, the sky's going to be completely blown out. And the next risk in the Narrows is you are hiking through water. So it's not like you have this perfectly level place to just set up a tripod and do a long exposure shot. No, you are literally trekking through slippery rocks. You have gear on, you have rented like waders and boots and poles, and there's like a million people behind you because it's so popular. Which brings me to the risk number 3. The gear risk is real. There are not very many people who are going to lug $3,000 of camera gear through a river and a slot canyon. I mean, it's risky in itself for you just falling in the river, let alone you holding a big camera or your phone up above while you're trying to swim through a river through this magnificent slot canyon through Zion National Park. Can you imagine me, full waders, just with water up to here trying to do this? No, not for me, thank you. I did see a couple people doing it. I had anxiety for them. Now I'm going to be brutally honest here, and I am going to be talking about my mistakes because even though, you know, I love photography and I try my best to get the best shot, sometimes I just fail because I'm human. So let's talk about it so that you don't have to. Now, mistake number 1, expecting that Instagram perfect shot. Before I went on the Narrows, I decided to get some inspiration, as you know, many of you probably do. And I saw these incredible shots of like just that one single lone hiker there on Wall Street with all the, you know, the walls and this like beautiful and the sun's coming in. Oh man, I think it's possible, but you need to have a lot of gear, be ready to risk a lot of gear, get there at exactly the right time, and have supreme editing skills because there are a lot of people here. If you want just you in the background, that's gonna take a lot of planning. So just setting up my expectations right away just to know what kind of shot that I was gonna get, and I think I would have been better prepared that way. Mistake number 2, underestimating the high contrast lighting situation. If I would have known it would have been that drastic of a change between the bottom of the canyon and that tiny little poke of sun just poking through its way in the top, I think I would have done something a little different. I think I would have taken a lightweight, you know, maybe mirrorless camera. I'll link mine in the description if you want to know which one I probably would have taken if I were to do this again. And I would have taken a small tripod, and I think I would have liked to try maybe some HDR bracketing, and that's basically I would expose for the sky, I would take another picture and expose for the ground, and then I would layer them on top of each other because I did it with my phone and it was fine. And like the photos are okay, but they're not great. You know, I don't know, there's just something about them. Like, they're a little grainy and they're just not professional looking. And although the phone does a pretty good job, at least these newer phones do a pretty good job at HDR, it was just not up to my standards. I didn't like it. And number 3, relying too much on action cameras. Now, I've done this before. This is an Insta360 in X3, and I will link this below because I do think that this is a very, very good travel, especially like an adventure camera. And I also do mermaid stuff sometimes, so I will be in a mermaid tail and sometimes I'll be alone, and this is actually how I get a lot of my pictures when I'm alone mermaiding. So this does have a point and a purpose. Basically, you just take this off, and there's a giant selfie stick that you can hold all the way up there, and then it will magically, in some form of sorcery, take the stick out of the video. I'm not quite sure how it does that. However, this really struggled with the HDR. Most of the time the skies were blown out, the shadows were grainy, so I think this is good for some point of view footage, and I think this is also waterproof, so I got some pretty cool shots like coming out of the water and then looking at the canyon. However, it just was not to the standard that I was hoping it to be. So if you're looking for those wall hanging shots that you blow up and hang in your living room, I would not rely on action cameras like this or the GoPro. And my next mistake, I did not bring a camera, I just brought a phone, and I kind of wish I would have tried a little harder at waterproofing. Maybe not this big of a camera, but maybe my smaller camera. This is the lightest camera that I own, so I would have had to take this one. I decided not to, and I really wish that I would have waterproofed it a little bit so that I could at least have it. And if I was just taking my phone, I would have gotten an actual waterproof pouch that I could have taken it out easier, because most of my time was just like getting it out of my water, like my dry bag in my backpack. And after like 2 hours, I was just getting so annoyed because I'd be like, oh, look, a nice picture. Then I'd have to take my backpack out, I'd have to find a dry spot, I'd have to open my dry bag, I'd have to get my phone. It was just a whole ordeal. So I think if I were to do it again, I would spend more time on waterproofing my gear than waterproofing myself, because I spent a lot of time waterproofing myself with like the waders and the boots and everything, and I just ended up getting wet anyway. Waterproof your gear, expect yourself to get wet. Another mistake that I made was I spent too much time focusing on gear and not enough about strategy. I said, oh yeah, I'll bring my GoPro, I'll bring the Insta360, I'll bring my phone, I'm leaving my tiny little mirrorless camera at home, and that'll be fine, and I'll just get inspiration when I'm there. Wrong. I wish I would have just taken what gear I had, not thought about the gear, and thought more about the strategy of the photo, where I was going to take the photo, what my composition was going to look like, you know, how I was going to deal with all the contrasting lighting. So I think I would have focused a little bit more on how to photograph slot canyons itself instead of just the gear that I was going to bring. And the mistake that I made was I expected to get this jaw-dropping, Insta-scroll stopping worthy photo of myself hiking the Narrows, and I think I did, but again, I think it just could have been a little better, because here's the problem. Unless you're traveling with another photographer, you're either gonna have to set up a tripod in the middle of a river, no thank you, or you're gonna have to give your phone or action camera to a stranger in a river, no thank you. Either way, you are relinquishing a lot of control by trying to get a picture of yourself. So there are ways to do this. If I had to do this again, I think I would have set up the shot first and then waded out into the river. Now luckily, I did have a buddy with me to take photos with me, so I would recommend bringing a buddy. And then the other thing that I would recommend is moving a lot more. I see a lot of pictures in the Narrows where, you know, they're just standing here like this with their hands on their hips with this beautiful slot canyon behind them. But, you know, trying to make it more candid, I prefer photos like that where I'm moving, where I'm hiking, where I'm, you know, showing just like movement and giving life to the photo. And the way that you can get maximum control over this is bringing a tripod. Now repeat after me, sturdy tripod. Did you repeat after me? Sturdy tripod. And make sure that it is sturdy before you go. There is rushing water throughout this entire hike. Unless you kind of go to the side and you like prop it on a rock, you're going to need a very sturdy tripod. You can try using one of those gorilla pods that you wrap around something, although there's not a ton to wrap around, but you could, you know, kind of anchor it to a rock if that's what you're doing. But again, just make sure it is sturdy before you walk away to take the photo. And the less gear, the better. You want to pack light, so I would just ditch the remote shutter and I would do a self timer instead. Start hiking before sunrise, and I mean like get on the very first shuttle. We had some issues because we went kind of during the end of peak season, so they wouldn't let anybody drive up there, so we literally had to go. We had to park in the visitor center, which was very full very quickly, so get there very early. We tried to get on the first shuttle out, and even then we didn't end up hiking the Narrows until way after sunrise. So if you can kind of go off peak season where you can drive up there, or just make sure that you are on the very first shuttle, because this is going to help with crowds, it's going to help with heat, and it's also going to help with lighting, because once you get to that midday, those beams are going to come straight through that slot canyon, and it's going to make the lighting even harder. Another thing that I wish I would have done is I would have researched spots in the Narrows to take photos at, so that I could have planned them out a little better and then just put it away. I feel like I was constantly just so overwhelmed by the beauty of it all that I constantly had a camera, and although I had fun, I think I definitely would have had more fun if I would have just planned my shots, taken a few really good quality shots, and then just put it away. If you are looking for the most photogenic spots in the Narrows, I will link the full guide to this video where I talk about all of this and more. It's on the bucketlistmermaid.com, where you can just go through and you can see all of these spots in the Narrows. That's what I wish I would have done beforehand, and I would have been like, oh great, like this is Wall Street, I'll get my camera out, I'll spend a little extra time here, get the perfect photo, and then just put it away and then just enjoy the hike. So those are all my mistakes that I made while photographing the Narrows. I think I am gonna have to go back and try again, because it is such an amazing place. Like, I cannot stress this enough. This is a beautiful hike, and I have hiked a lot, and this hike is probably my favorite. It's just so cool. I love water. I love the trekking through water. It's unique, it's beautiful, so definitely give it a go, but be prepared as far as photography is concerned, because you want to walk away with some beautiful memories that you can look at of you completing this bucket list hike. Now, as I mentioned before, I do have a guide on the bucketlistmermaid.com that I will link in the description. I go through so much in that guide, including like safety tips and camera gear that I recommend, and more things about photographing the Narrows that I wish I had but I didn't, but you will have it so you will not mess up like I did. If you've been to the Narrows and you have some photos, I would love to see them. I'm your biggest photography cheerleader, and I'm your biggest adventure cheerleader, so send them on over. I would love to see them. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want more adventure and photography content, it would mean the world to this traveling and photographing mermaid if you could just hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I really hope that you have more luck photographing the Narrows than I did. And here's to living adventurously through the lens. I'm gonna have to go back and do this again. What a shame. Twist my arm. Let's go.